We know that children have their best chance to grow into happy and successful adults when they benefit from having both their mother and father fully involved in their upbringing. Unfortunately, many do not have this opportunity because 34% of children in the United States live in single-parent households. That is over 23 million nationally and 866,000 in Pennsylvania. Even though it is in the children's best interests to work together as a separated family, many mothers and fathers end up battling for custody in our family court systems. When custody conflict starts, it is common for children to lose access to their fathers due to biases, outdated thinking and processes, and the prolonged nature of the family court system. The system is not father-friendly. At its worst, it is rigged against them. What gets lost when the focus is on mom and dad not being able to agree is that when fathers are needlessly cut out of the lives of their sons and daughters, the real victims are the children who end up being denied the love, care, and guidance of their fathers. This is why the Dad's Resource Center was founded by Dr. Joel N. Myers in 2015. Because hundreds of fathers desperate to fulfill their sacred responsibility to their children have reached out to us, we have seen the many ways that our family court systems hinder or even completely deny father-family involvement. Family courts do not treat mothers and fathers equally. Why is there so much of a difference in how mothers and fathers are treated when a separation occurs and both parents are eager to continue being active in the upbringing of their children? Going back to the 19th century, custody decisions were based on the tender years doctrine, a legal principle that presumes children should be under the care and custody of their mother at least through 4 years of age. Over the last several decades, there has been a movement away from the tender years doctrine toward best interest standards. While there are certainly courts that view and treat mothers and fathers equally, overall, there still is a strong tendency to lean toward mothers when determining best interests. A Dad's Resource Center study of 14 Pennsylvania counties found that in contested custody cases, judges awarded mothers 69% of custody time and fathers 31% of custody time. Mothers were awarded full or primary custody in 496 of the 700 cases we reviewed. Fathers were awarded full or primary custody in 100 cases. Both parents were awarded joint custody in only 104 of the cases. This matches up with the custody exchange findings that nationally fathers are likely to receive 35% of custody time. Even in states that have laws with an assumption of shared parenting, there still are strong, lingering gender biases that affect how fathers are treated in family courts, be it a preference toward mothers or lack of appreciation for what children need to get from their fathers. Fathers are naturally deferential to mothers. When there is a separation, one of the parents will leave their current residence. Most times, this is the father, who does so to ensure that both his children and their mother have the needed stability of a home to live in. When parents are unable to agree and go to the family courts to decide custody of their children, a judge will make an initial, temporary custody order. Most times, he or she will keep whatever current arrangements are in place. As a matter of practice, this usually is a father having every other weekend. This then becomes the established custody arrangement, which judges are slow to move away from as the case progresses. In doing the right thing, a father often puts himself in a hole he has a hard time digging out of. Father's extended family becomes erased. Extended family are a vital source of support and belonging when we are growing up. Even more so when mothers and fathers separate, children need to know that they are important to their grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. One of the most underappreciated consequences when family courts allow fathers to be cut out of their children's lives is that they end up losing half of their extended family. At a time when they need all the support they can get, this makes their sense of uncertainty and isolation even worse, and it robs them of the unique contributions that these family members can provide to them. Guardian ad litem and other court-appointed personnel. Courts often appoint a guardian ad litem when there is a contentious custody case. In theory, it is a good idea to have an independent attorney or social worker represent the best interests of the children, and judges put a lot of weight to what they report. Unfortunately, there is no certainty of their impartiality because here in Pennsylvania there are almost no standards for their appointment, their training, and oversight of their work. This is also the case for other court-appointed personnel. There definitely are those guardian ad litem who do their job professionally and can be neutral and objective. Unfortunately, it is not uncommon for fathers to relay their belief that this is not the case. And we have witnessed a clear lack of impartiality occurring with the GALs that are working with some of our fathers. Sometimes subtly, other times very obviously. Misuse of PFAs to gain advantage in custody cases. Protection from abuse orders are crucial interventions meant to safeguard those who are at risk of harm. Courts justifiably are very cautious when those who may be at risk ask for this protection. However, it is a known tactic for a parent to misuse a PFA to gain advantage in their custody case. When this occurs, previously determined custody orders are almost always negated, with the accused parents' access to their children significantly or completely limited for an extended period of time. When this occurs, the children are deprived of the love, care, and guidance of that parent and often find themselves confused over what they know and believe about him. It is not uncommon in these situations for the parent that filed the PFA to leverage allowing limited access to the children as a bargaining chip for the accuser to drop the PFA filing, or for judges to extend temporary PFA orders for many months because there is no agreement between the parties. We cannot fault judges for ensuring the safety of women and children, but there are very few examples of cases where this occurs that the person making the false accusations face any consequences. Court-ordered supervised visits. While there definitely are circumstances that may dictate a parent being required to have supervised visits with his or her children, this is another intervention that tends to be overused with fathers. The availability of established custody supervision service providers can be limited, and most times are committed to those cases that have clear safety concerns. If the option exists, most fathers have limited support systems to suggest family or friends to supervise visits. When they do, the courts most times will seek approval from the mother. It is common for a father who has been ordered to have supervised visits to not be able to get those visits going because he is stuck on a waiting list or is unable to get approval for someone to supervise the visits. We have seen fathers who have gone up to and even more than half a year until they can get supervised visits. And increasingly, fathers are made to pay for service provider supervised visits up to $70 an hour. Custody evaluators. To better inform their decision-making, judges may order a custody evaluation involving the mother, father, children, and anyone who may currently be in their lives. Because this is a specialty service and is time-intensive, it can be hard to find an evaluator that both parents will agree to. The parents may have to travel several hours for multiple visits. It often takes several months to complete the process and can cost as much as $10,000. This is another person who can bring favoritism to the process. We have seen those who appear to be even-handed in their assessments. We have seen those who, it would appear, favors one parent to a small degree. We have seen those who, it seems, overtly favors one parent. Lack of enforcement of custody orders. A lot of fathers reach out to the Dad's Resource Center because the mother is consistently failing to follow the agreed-upon visitation schedule outlined in the custody order. There are two legal processes to address these situations: filing contempt of court with the judge that made the custody order, and filing a police report with his or the mother's municipal police department. Most times, despite repeated attempts to enforce the custody order through these legal means, the non-compliant parent continues to disregard the order without facing any consequences. These kinds of situations feed fathers' sense of powerlessness in that the system is rigged against them. It does appear that courts are more apt to punish fathers for doing this than it does with mothers. Even worse is the impact on the children. This often is an overt act of alienation that successfully poisons the bond between the father and his children, or it leads to the children becoming frustrated and acting out against the mother. Custody cases can drag out for years and cost a lot of money. In 2021, less than 40% of custody cases filed in Philadelphia were resolved in less than 1 year. Nearly every custody case for fathers that have reached out to the Dad's Resource Center were more than a year, most multiple years. The court system is slow-moving by nature. Most judges already have a backlog of cases to work through. Schedules between the judge, lawyers, and other involved parties must be resolved to set dates. Before you reach a final custody hearing, there is an initial hearing to set a temporary custody order. There are timelines to file and then hearings for evidence. Motions can be filed, sometimes purposefully, to extend the time needed to reach a final hearing. Many courts require at least one round of attempted negotiated settlements with a master or mediator. Psychological testing and custody evaluations take months to complete. More time is involved to work through an order of protection from abuse or allegation of abuse reported to children and youth services if these occur. All of this time comes at a great cost. Attorney will bill for any contact, even replying to an email, at $150,000 to $500,000 an hour. There are additional fees for mediators, guardian ad litem's, psychologists, custody evaluators, supervised visits, administration fees, postage delivery fees, court filing, and process fees. A high-conflict custody case can cost upwards of $50,000 to $100,000 or more when it is all said and done, money which otherwise could do so much more for the children. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We have seen the extraordinary pain and suffering that men experience when they are powerless and unable to honor their sacred responsibilities to their children. Even worse is that our systems meant to protect the best interests of children far too often work to needlessly deny their access to willing and able fathers. The children are the ones hurt most by this. Please follow and support the Dad's Resource Center to help these fathers and bring light to this issue.